Gilgis Alexander. Shabbat for three. Bingo!
Carter will get it for the win. Got it! He is hard to believe.
Here's Jordan.
Yes! The Magic, a 360 turn with the dribble. Magic down the middle. Gives underneath to Worthy. Slammed up.
Third in the corner. Double fake.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Dime Dropper for another 2021-22 post-game recap. First in a little while. Before we get started, please make sure to subscribe on YouTube at Dime Dropper Podcast, Apple Podcasts. Leave a review if you would like. Follow us on Spotify. And, of course, to follow us on all social media platforms at Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at Dime Dropper Pod. I've started to post a little bit more on TikTok, so if you have an account, check me out. Try my best. I'm not as savvy with that app, so I'm trying. I'll give you a follow back if I know you, of course. And if you enjoy my content, just you want to support, I appreciate you. But I probably won't follow you back. No offense. But obviously Instagram as well. Anyways, check out my last vlog, by the way, before I get started. My two latest videos. One was part 3, Melo era Knicks, the climax of it, in my opinion, 2010 to 13 seasons. Great, the most clips I've used of any episode of those thus far. We have one more part coming up, but go check that out. It's the most viewed one, I think, of the 3 parts. And then my latest vlog is getting playoff level numbers, almost at 1,000 in less than 24 hours that I posted it. Clippers and Jazz, Paul George's return. If you wanted to see what that was like, another 25-point comeback against the trash. It was amazing. So my favorite vlog of the season. And for the first time ever, and I want to just take this moment to thank Clipper Nation if I don't get a chance to do it yet. Do it before the season ends properly on a live. I'm so thankful. As a kid, I got 8 game passes to go sit in section 301 with my back at the highest row of 301. Dead. So if everybody that doesn't know Staples Center sections, that's dead center, but the 300 section, the top deck or upper bowl, and back against the wall, the highest seat. And I used to sit there 8 games a season in 07 and 08, a lot of games in 06 with my family, my sister, my parents. And, to be going to some of these games now for free, I didn't think I was going to go to that many games this season, because when we had Lob City, I made a rule. I'm not going to go to regular season games because it's kind of a waste of money. Every single game against a bad team was like 30, 40 if I wanted to sit lower bowl. Which to other fans, that sounds like a steal, but I don't know. I was just being a cheapskate, and I was like, I'm just going to wait till the playoffs and go to all those games. But I started to realize, like, with our attendance would be bad in the beginning of the season, I was like, I'm going to go. Like, if I'm not there supporting at a time like this, when we have a good team and we're not selling out, who is? So I made an effort to try to go to every single game against a mediocre opponent that was under $30 for me to sit in the lower bowl. I got some incredible deals, $15, $20 all season long. And then the amount of free tickets I've gotten from subscribers, from followers on Twitter, from friends that I've made over the course of the season, to be hit up on game day and have people looking to give me a ticket. It's like, for a kid that was sitting in 301, it's the dream come true. I can't even put it into words. So for the bottom of my heart, thank you guys for such an incredible season. I don't want to sound like I'm ending it, because I still have one vlog left on Sunday. I'm going to go to the Pelicans game, but I am going back to visit my guys back in Massachusetts before the playoffs start. I didn't want to go during the playoffs, so I made sure I went before, which means I'm going to miss the last 3 home games of the Clippers regular season, which means I'm probably not going to be able to be here on the last day of the regular season, but I will make trust me guys when I say that the play-in content that I'm going to have play-in and play-off is going to be unlike we've ever had at Dime Dropper. So I'm really excited to bring that to you guys. But tonight, let's get into the main business, and that's the Clippers and Milwaukee. I almost said Milwaukee Bucks. The Clippers and the Chicago Bulls going at it at the United Center. The first time we saw the Bulls this season, I was at the game. There's a vlog on the channel. It was a tough one. Lonzo Ball played in that game. Alex Caruso played in that game. They were fully healthy. I don't know if Vucevic played, for my memory. I think he may have. But they had Lonzo, and he made a big difference, and they beat us. Tonight, they would also beat us. But man, oh man, this was maybe the most painful loss of the season because, of course, Paul George is back and kicking. And he started out even better than last game because it took him a little bit to get going last game. But he played well. He was able to get in the pick and roll in the first quarter and, get to the basket or get, into 10 feet away from the basket or on the drive and score. And Marcus Morris Sr., I thought, started the game really well for us. Mid-range area, made a nice pass to the corner to an open Nico Batum for a corner three. Just hitting his shots. And we came out with good defensive intensity too. I thought Ivica Zubac did a really good job protecting the rim, going up vertically without fouling. And Paul George, he's really been active defensively, especially on the ball. How sharp he's been has really impressed me on the ball since he's come back these 2 games. He's gotten multiple steals. He's constantly getting deflections. Nico Batum's constantly getting deflections. And, the size that we're going to have when Kawhi and Rocco and Nico and Paul are all playing together in one lineup is going to be ridiculous. The switch everything kind of Warriors like death lineup, the old Warriors with Iggy, KD, Clay, and Draymond. Oof. And then Norman Powell would be our Steph Curry, and I'd consider Norman Powell a better defender than Steph. So man, oh man, we don't necessarily have the Draymond in terms of the interior defense, with that switch everything lineup. But when you switch everything, your interior defense is protecting the ball from getting in the paint, staying in front of your man. And we're going to have a pretty damn solid lineup there when those guys come back. But tonight, we still started out well on defense. I thought there are certain guys on the Bulls that you're just going to live with them shooting. One of those being Alex Caruso, 1 of 4 from deep. Another one, Ayo Dosunmu, 0 of 3 from deep. He shows – I like Ayo's game. He's a good slasher, cutter. He plays defense. He plays hard. But his 3-ball is still needs some work. And I was very comfortable with those shots. Now, another thing that I've started to see develop over the course of the season for the Bulls. So I said they were going to be one of my dime dropper teams this year, but that really hasn't panned out because there's been a lot of injuries. And, I just haven't really been watching as much hoop outside of the Clippers and Lakers. I needed a little bit of a step back from the modern NBA because, I'm not a huge fan of the style and so much load management, so many little injuries, COVID in the beginning of the year, so many guys missing games constantly. The regular season product to me is terrible. So I'm just watching my teams, my team, and then the Lakers, which I grew up watching. And it's been fun watching the Lakers this season, total circus. But the Bulls, I've watched them a good amount, but not as much as I would have liked. And one thing I've noticed with them is as the season has progressed, DeMar DeRozan has played so well, so much better than everybody expected. But I thought this was going to be Zach LaVine's team. And I gave Zach so much props in the beginning of the season for kind of letting DeMar eat, letting him kind of take over this team, basically. But I think I know they won tonight, and it sounds ridiculous, but I don't know. I don't like that route because Zach LaVine seems like he's becoming more of a number 2 kind of mentality when he's playing. 5 of 17 tonight, 1 of 6 from 3. He still had 21 points because he got to the line 13 times. But it very much feels like DeRozan is that number 1. And I know he's warranted that with his performance this season. But to me, it should definitely be more 1A, 1B. Zach LaVine is a better 3-level scorer. He's more athletic. And we saw him last season against our Clippers just go crazy. No screens, pick and roll, anything. Making ridiculous shots. And I saw him do it at the beginning of the season in various games this season, but I just don't like DeRozan's almost taking 10 more shots than him. And I get it. They won tonight and DeRozan had 50. And I don't want to sound like I'm hating because I love DeMar. He's one of my favorite college players of all time. He's one of our own, went to Compton High. I love DeMar, USC. But I just think that Zach LaVine needs to be the guy going forward because I just don't think this Bulls team is going to win a series. And I think that Lonzo, I don't know what's going on with him, if he's going to come back or not. But if they don't have Lonzo, they're definitely not winning a first-round series, in my opinion, unless they get matched up with the Cavs somehow. But they're not beating the Celtics. They're not beating the Sixers. That would be an interesting series. I think they have a chance, but I don't think they're beating the Sixers. I think Embiid will be way too much for them to handle. And then they're definitely not beating Milwaukee, and they're not beating the Heat. I think they'd have a good series against the Heat, but they're not beating them. And I don't know. I just don't like the way that Zach's starting to defer a lot. But regardless, Clippers up 10 after 1. Really solid all the way around on both ends of the floor. I thought in the second quarter we traded baskets with the Bulls. We went into the halftime with a 9-point lead. But I thought a guy that came in and gave us a nice lift was Robert Covington. Knocking down his open threes, doing what he does on defense, just being a presence. And, Nico Batum, Ivica Zubac, Hartenstein, their defense, tonight may have not been their best night defensively, but in that first half, you saw why we are who we are. The way we communicated, the way Zoo and Hartenstein played drop coverage, doing a great job of showing and, being in between ball handler and the roller. And just great energy overall in the first half by us. Led 59-50 at the half. LaVine and DeRozan, we were up by actually 16 points, but LaVine and DeRozan made some tough shots to end the quarter. DeRozan in the mid-range, LaVine with like a fall away and cut it down to 9 at half. But the second half, third quarter is when I really thought we were going to take it home because Reggie Jackson came out firing in the third quarter. He had like 6 points in the first in less than 3 minutes to start the quarter. He had 6 points, and he did it every way you wanted. Every way you wanted. Floater, step back on Ayo Dosunmu, snatch back, a three, going to the basket. And, the Clips were cruising. But the Bulls, again, they just would not quit. Caruso's effort on defense was really good. It was good to see Patrick Williams back. He missed a lot of time this season. Overall, the Bulls stayed with it. And one thing that was working really well for the Clippers, and it's just so nice, by the way, to have Paul George back. The amount of shots, open shots that he created tonight was just, and that's one thing, the results for us don't really matter. It's like Clipper Nation, I know this was a tough loss, and I'll get to like the crux of why we lost with the fouls at the end and everything. But I don't think there's anything to panic over because we are pretty much locked into this 8th spot. With the Lakers loss tonight to the Utah Trash, we have clinched the play-in spot, which is fantastic given everything that we have gone through this season to be where we're at, despite Paul George being out for more than half the season, despite us getting Norman Powell and him missing time, despite Nico Batum and Marcus Morris Sr. not having played like 5 games in a row together for the first 20 to 30 games of the year, despite not having our best player for 1 game. You got to give a shout out to everybody. But back to this game, the Bulls stayed in it. Oh, no, my bad. I was saying Paul George, just the process is what's important because we're locked into this 8th spot. The Lakers and the teams below us are probably not going to catch us. Probably, not for sure. But we're not catching the Wolves at 7. So we're likely going to finish 8th. So I wouldn't trip too hard on the loss. But the process, we saw some good things. Paul George, the amount of open shots he's creating for us and just having a star back in the lineup is just unbelievable because obviously he has his own ability where he can score on basically anyone if you just go single coverage on him. But, they're throwing straight double teams, blitzing him on screens. And, Isaiah and Zoo have gotten so much more comfortable with those short roll reads. And Isaiah was finding guys for open threes. It took Kennard a while to get his first shot, but then he made 2 threes and he went 2 of 5. One of them was in overtime, but, he had 11 points. And then Terrence Mann had 2 buckets off those short roll, cuts. I don't remember if both of them were on those cuts, but I'm pretty sure he scored on one of them. And we were getting good shots because of those Isaiah short roll and Zubac's the same. The Bulls, however, would not give up, and DeMar DeRozan totally killed us in the fourth quarter. He was getting in the mid-range area and cooking. I thought a couple of times we went drop coverage a little too much instead of just getting the ball out of his hands. But again, modern spacing, it's tough. It's basically like a 4-on-3 drill, and when they get open layups, that really pisses me off. Like the backdoor cutters, Caruso, Patrick Williams, Dosunmu, they put the guy in the, in the dunker spot and they cut to that. They cut, and it just feels like there's so much space to cover. And that goes back to also, when you watch older basketball, you watch college basketball, and my good friend Asher, we've had on the podcast many times, pointed this out to me. And when in college and in old basketball, the typical defense to pick and roll, why it wasn't as effective besides the spacing, was a hard hedge where the big man comes up and really stunts at the ball handler and gives him the worry that he may actually lose the ball. But now they call fouls when the big man makes contact with the ball handler coming off that. Whereas in college and in the old school NBA, he comes up and those guys are just get away, dribbling the ball so they can get the big man to recover and get away from them. Because when you see typically coming off, see a 7-footer and he's pressing you, really getting into your airspace, it's not just, pass it over the top like today, where it's just like they're basically just coming at you just to take away your drive, but he's not making contact with you. They're not putting pressure on the ball, so you can just toss it over the top. It's just easy reads. And It's tough. It's tough when that pass is made, the easiest pass over the top that breaks the whole defense, basically. That's a 4-on-3 situation. You got to pick your poison. And obviously, what you rather have is not the open layup, not the lob. You take away that and you give them the open threes, but it's still an open shot. And at one time in overtime, we gave him the baseline, and that was tough. And that came from DeRozan being double teamed because he was getting so hot. And a lot of times we also gave them the Reggie Jackson on DeRozan switch a little too much. Every time, and shout out to DeRozan, every single time he got him on that switch, post up, mid post, turn and shot right over him, turnarounds over either shoulder, skilled. Again, I'm going to say it many times. I don't think DeRozan's flaws in the playoffs are because he doesn't shoot threes. I think it's, mental, a lot of things. When he's talking about, LeBron, I'm intimidated, the praise he gives him, like, no, that sounds like you're intimidated. You know what I'm saying? And we've seen it with DeRozan. He's gone cold. Defense gets more physical, less spacing, and he doesn't make those same shots. And, he falls into those tough shots. It doesn't hit him anymore. But this year, we've had a lot of talk about him. Let's see how he does in the playoffs. Because tonight, he played better than Paul George at the end. Obviously, he should, being that Paul George has been out. But he was the best player on the court tonight. There was no doubt about that. He was getting in his mid-range, taking advantage of mismatches, getting downhill, getting to the line. He was doing it all, creating good shots for the team, 15 free throw attempts, 14 of 15 from the line. He knocked him down. The only miss came at the very end. And guys, I thought we had this game in the bag. That's what really hurts. I really thought that we had this game in the bag, but we just didn't. However, the refs assisted the Bulls a little bit. They cut it down close, but we made our free throws, man. We really made our free throws to end the game. But then we made some unnecessary fouls. And I just want to say, just to give you a reference point, we were up 110 to 103 with 2:42 left. Vucevic, actually 112, 104 with 2:26 left. Because Paul George was going at Nikola Vucevic in the pick and roll. And that's one of the weaknesses we've talked about all season for the Bulls is Nikola Vucevic doesn't really deter guys at the rim. He doesn't block shots very much, at least not when I watch him. It seems like guys can go into his chest and get whatever he wants. He's slow-footed, doesn't really get off the ground, whatever. But Paul George, was doing that. However, Vucevic made a three. PG missed a couple shots down the stretch too. He looked a little fatigued, for stretches. Right before he came out in this fourth quarter rotation, he looked fatigued. I said it to my friend. I was like, yeah, he's tired because he ran 3 straight pick and rolls in a row, and Caruso was getting into him, making contact with him. He came back and he just looked a little bit, Cannon ran out of gas or just missed a couple shots at the end, however you want to call it. He missed 2 shots, and we still, though, had the 3-point lead, 1-point lead because, they'd score, they'd foul, they played the foul game. But this is where it all went wrong. 118, 115, 7 seconds to go. Robert Covington has just made 2 free throws to put us up 3. Terrence Mann fouled DeRozan before the ball was inbounded, which is an automatic free throw and the ball. And I thought it was pretty soft. I've seen a lot more contact than that at the end of the game, and it has gone uncalled. But they chose to call it. They make the free throw. DeRozan makes the free throw. And then Paul George, I haven't seen the replay again, but PG had an unnecessary foul where he closed DeRozan's airspace from 3. Mind you, this is not the mid-range area. This is from 3. You should not be closing out that hard on him. If he makes a game-winning 3, you shake his hand and walk away. And we foul him. And luckily, he still misses one of the free throws. But the problem is he tied the game, and we are being very strict with Paul George's minutes and had a strict minutes restriction and did not play him in overtime. And you knew with the momentum that had shifted to Chicago, we were in trouble. And the first 2 minutes, there were no baskets. And then finally, we trapped DeRozan on the pick and roll, threw it over the top, as I said, with that, Reed situation where the Reed is just too easy now. The bigs can't come out and hard hedge and make contact. Threw it over the top. And, we had a guy, it was too far of a rotation for two people guarding 3, essentially. One in the left corner, one on the right wing, one in the dunker. Like, Zoo's just like, what am I supposed to do? And I think it was Caruso that scored. And then the very next play, DeRozan threw one down on Nico Batum. And I have to say, he got the better of Nico Batum, who's a great defender, but he got the better of him in overtime. Dunked on him. There was one time off the ball where, Nico was a step behind. DeRozan turned the corner. Zoo came to help. He made the perfect read, kicked it out to Patrick Williams. It was Patrick Williams that had the dunk. I'm sorry. It gave it to Caruso in the high post. Caruso gave it to Patrick Williams. I would have honestly let Caruso shoot that foul line jumper because he's not a great shooter. But Pat Williams made the corner three to answer back a Luke Kennard three to put them up 129 to 125 off a beautiful DeRozan kickout. And, Reggie still cut the deficit in half, 129, 127. But we fouled DeMar DeRozan. It was just Nico Batum was struggling. DeRozan was doing his thing, made both free throws, and we lost the game 135 to 130. The Clippers dropped 37 and 40. This was definitely one of the toughest losses of the season. Those fouls were just unnecessary by Terrence and Paul. Bulls move on to 45 and 32. Nico, it's tough to have to have a really solid game like that, spoiled. He had 17 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 3 blocks, and 0 turnovers. He was +3, 5 of 9 from the field, and 4 for 8 from 3, and 3 of 3 from the line. So what an efficient night for Nico. Disappointed that we didn't get the job done. Senior, another great night for him. Usually when Senior and Reggie play like this, we do not lose, but it's just tough. One of the few games that they've played well and we've lost. Marcus Morris Sr., 20 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists on 7 of 12 shooting. And then Reggie, 34 points. He really took over that third quarter. 12 of 23 from the field, 6 of 9 from deep. And honestly, we maybe should have gone to him a little more down the stretch instead of Paul, but I get it. We want to get Paul ready for these situations because in the playoffs, he's going to see them if we make it there. And in the play-in, we may see it. 4 of 4 from the line for Reg. Paul, 22 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals. He did have 5 turnovers, though. It was not as good of a night as the other night, but it's going to take some time. I don't think he had a bad game by any stretch. 7 of 20 from the field, 2 of 9 from 3, though his 3-ball wasn't falling, but it's okay. We're going to give him some more games to get that right. For the Bulls, DeRozan, 50 points, unbelievable game. I'm just disappointed. He should have never gotten 50 because it never should have gone to overtime. But 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 17 of 26 from the field, 2 of 2 from 3, and 14 of 15 from the line. Vucevic also had a good game, USC product. 22 points, 14 rebounds, 9 of 19 from the field, and 60%, 3 of 5 from 3. And then Caruso, it won't show in the stats, as we know so well from our Laker recaps last season. 7.7 assists, 3 rebounds, +15, 3 of 8 from the field. And then Zach LaVine, 21 points on 5 of 17, 10 of 13 from the line, 1 of 6 from 3. So Zach needs to play better, and it's just a matter of this is where DeRozan needs to try to sacrifice and make sure Zach is playing his best basketball before the playoffs. Because DeRozan's hooping. He's been hooping all season. He's tapered off a little bit, but he's been hooping. Patrick Williams, really good contribution today. 10 points, 12 rebounds, 2 blocks and a steal, 0 turnovers on 4 of 4 shooting. And Kobe White also +17 off the bench, 11 points, 5 of 12 shooting. So tough loss for us. The Lakers, I don't want to talk about them really at all because they didn't have LeBron. And that's a concern, guys. LeBron tweaked his ankle the other night, and now it's really looking tough. But the news is that Anthony Davis is going to come back tomorrow against the Pels. So that's huge, absolutely huge. If the Lakers have a healthy LeBron, Russ, and AD in the play-in, you don't want to see them, regardless of how badly they're playing, regardless of how the season they've had. That star power, those are future Hall of Famers. LeBron, one of the 10 greatest players of all time. One of the 10 greatest players in the league right now, I'd say, averaging 30 at 37. In one game, he can lock in on the defensive end, and so can AD, and it can get scary. Obviously, I don't want him to make the playoffs. LeBron, will he come back? He does need to play a couple more games to try to get that scoring title. And I know that's on his mind, no matter how much he wants to act like it's not. I know it is because you can see it in his actions, taking free throws on technicals when he has better free throw shooters on the floor, staying in when they're getting blown out to score a couple more points, staying in when they're blowing someone out to get a couple more points, fouling the Raptors even when the game's out of sight to score more points, not trying very hard on defense so he can carry the load on offense, which, I think that they have a lot of more solid offensive players than people think. But it is what it is, right? We'll see what happens. It's going to be tough. Another loss to the Lakers tonight against the Utah Trash, though, on the road. They actually stayed in it for a little bit, but 109-122. The good news, Russell Westbrook, 24 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists, and only 3 turnovers, 9 of 18 shooting from the field. So 50%, only thing you'd like him to shoot better than 60% from the line, 6 of 10. The game, though, that was really the occasion tonight, and shout out to Fabian because he was at the game tonight. 120 to 119. I'm sad I didn't watch it. The Milwaukee Bucks over the Nets, the rematch of what I consider the best series of the 2021 playoffs. And Giannis, 44 points, 14 rebounds, and 6 assists on 14 of 21 shooting and 15 of 19 from the line. Kevin Durant had 26, 7, and 11 assists. That's pretty good, and then Kyrie 25, but Giannis got them both. And this is where it comes down to. If Giannis makes it out the East, man, if he loses to the Suns, maybe he loses to the Suns, but if he makes it out the East, he's the best player in the NBA to me. He's playing at such a high level on both ends of the floor. And not only did he hit a step back three to tie the game and send it to overtime, I'm not saying that's been consistent this year, but what has been consistent this year for the first time in his career from outside of 3 feet and inside the arc, so 3 to 10 feet, 10 to 16 feet, and 16 feet to the three, right inside the three. If you look on Basketball Reference, he's shooting 40% or higher from all those areas. And that he has never done that in a regular season. And that tells you the progression that Giannis has made. What did I say, everybody? If you go back to my finals recaps, he was inconsistent with it, but he did get hot towards the end. So his field goal percentage averaged out with his turnaround mid-ranges. And, they're more like 10-footers, little turnarounds over the right shoulder from 10 feet and an occasional little jump hook over the left shoulder. And his mid-range looked pretty decent, but it wasn't consistent over the whole course of the playoffs to me. But this season is the first season where it really looks like, to me, it's been consistent over the whole course of the season. And if he really has shown that he can improve that post-game skill, if he can take that into the playoffs and show it to me, because I haven't watched many Bucks games this season. Because I saw him hit a turnaround over the left shoulder for the first time the other day in a highlight against the Sixers, and I was like, okay. If he starts hitting turnarounds over the both shoulders with his aggression, with his defense, with his charging Giannis Antetokounmpo step charge into you, knock you over Kumpo, and a little jump hook action and a mid-range, we're talking all-time status. We're talking could break into the LeBron, Steph Curry. Actually, no, I already think he's going to get into that Steph Curry Durant, but I'm talking like LeBron, Akeem, Shaq territory. Kobe. Maybe not LeBron, Kobe. Maybe not LeBron. I'm sorry. I maybe went a little too fast there. But I'm talking Akeem, Shaq territory. I'm serious. But you never know. Maybe. Check me in the comments if you think that maybe he can catch those guys. Maybe he can. He's so determined. He's so hungry. He's such a good athlete. And with the technology and the medical advances and the load management era that we're in, he could play 20 years. So who knows? But anyway, what an incredible performance. If Giannis gets it out of the East, man, he's the best player in the NBA to me. If he wins the championship, no doubt. Consensus. This is, what he's doing, the amount of easy baskets he generates. That's what I was telling you guys. If you go back to my recap when they played the Lakers, why I think Giannis really could be the best now is because he generates the most easy baskets. He's so aggressive. He'll take it. If you switch him, he's such a threat as the roller in the pick and roll. That's what he figured out last year. Instead of being the ball handler like he was in the bubble in 2019. He's the roller. You need to have somebody rolling to him, because he's a cannonball. And that will create open threes if you do rotate from the corners. And if you switch, he's actually the best in the league to me at getting low post position where he doesn't even have to use turnaround skill or all that. He does the work before you get the ball, like the greats do. You know what I'm saying? But there are going to be guys big enough sometimes. They're less existent in this era, but there will be some guys that you can't just, that when they switch everything, you can't just bully like that. You're going to have to use a little bit of skill. And that's where that turnaround, the work he's put in is going to come in handy. And that's what's going to make him, to me, better than a Kevin Garnett. I'll say it with confidence, better than Dirk. If you can get that skill portion, because the thing is, a lot of these deficiencies can get masked in this era because of the spacing, because of this dilemma that you are in pick and rolls. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day, the rotations could be a little bit easier because you're not covering as much ground. Except, in certain sets that the Utah Jazz used to exploit illegal defense rules, certain sets like that. But I got to watch the tape. Anyway, that's it for me tonight, guys. We're going to go to the live subscribers waiting oh so patiently in the chat. Due to the fact that I'm going to be going out of town, I can tell you right now if it's my last recap. Let me check for you. Okay. Tomorrow's Friday, so it's unlikely that I go out. But AD's coming back. It's tough, guys. It's tough. We'll see how I'm feeling. If I'm doing something on a Friday night, I've been doing more things on Friday nights lately, so that's a good thing. But maybe Here, let's check what's going on Saturday afternoon. Oh, I already have plans. God damn it. No games on Saturday. Oh, because the freaking it's NCAA. Definitely gonna have some Final Four talk. Okay. How about this, guys? Lakers. Oh, Clippers are playing. Okay. How about this? I can go live on Sunday afternoon at around. How about this? I'll go live Sunday after the Lakers Nuggets game. That's what I'll do. I'll go live Sunday after the Lakers Nuggets game. That'll be my last live of the season. Actually, hold up. Monday's the national championship game. I'll go live for the national championship game. And then Tuesday, Lakers and Suns. You know what? We'll leave it. It won't be my last live. I could have a live on Tuesday. That could be my last. That'll probably be my last live of the season. Tuesday, April 5th. I feel like I'm doing something that day, but I don't think I am. So we'll do that. Lakers Suns likely target last live of the season, and then we wait for the play-in. The season ends on Friday, April 8th. So, yeah. We'll take it from there. Peace out, everybody. We'll go to the live subscribers waiting oh so patiently in the chat. What's up, y'all? Yeah, yo, let me get some water. All right, for a second. Let me get some water. I'm just fucking thirsty. I'll be right back with you guys. Don't leave. Don't leave. Cheese. I'm gonna take some nachos. All right, let's see what's going on here. Oh, yes. Okay. What's up? Let's see. What's up, Kyle? My main man. Kyle's on to you. Nets Bucks was insane. My boy Spence, thanks for the shout out. You know that's my guy. Hashtag dime time. You already know what it is. What's up, Edward? I hope I answered your questions. Playoff vlog. You know they coming. Missing bobblehead sucks. Hey, so why don't you get me one? Edward, come on, man. You gotta get me one, man. You know, I always stick up for you. Help, I got you to premiere a couple times. I always offer. Come on, snag me one of those. Are we getting a bobblehead this weekend? On Sunday? You already know the scoop. Tell me. Yeah, Memphis Clippers first round be fire. Fuck the Grizzlies. I'm so ready for that shit. I need that. I don't want to play the Suns. I need that. We can play the Suns though, but I'm down for the Grizzlies. We need that. Thanks, my guy. We started well, but that T-Man foul did it. Yeah, facts, Spence. That was stupid, but still, it was a tough call. But yeah, Kyle says Curry getting a reevaluation today. Not sure if it's just a fan or it's official. Yeah, we need Curry back, man. We need him back for these playoffs. I really don't want to see the Warriors. They're in trouble lately, man. I know they played well the other night against the Suns. I actually watched some of that game. But Clay has really thrown the rhythm off of this team, man. He's chucking. And Andrew Wiggins has been like, just his confidence looks shook. Like, a little bit. Like his free throws. Poole looks fantastic, but it's just getting out of whack. Now they've had injuries. Draymond just came back. Now Curry's hurt. Is Curry going to be able to get enough time before it ends? Before the season ends and before the season starts? Like, he's not going to come back for the regular season. I think he's going to come back in the playoffs. And that to get rhythm back in the playoffs, I just don't know. It looks like it's like made for the Suns to win this year. And I said that last year. I said they never get this chance, but because the Clippers and the Lakers have been proven to be a disaster. The Clippers are injured, and the Warriors have been better than expected, but just not there yet. And the Jazz suck. Yeah, the Suns, this is it. This is their best chance. This is going to be the best team in Suns history. They're going to, by the regular season, they're going to pass the record that the 60 or the 93 Suns set. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be Bucks Suns rematch, and I think that's going to make last year's finals look a lot better. I kept saying it was conference finals level basketball last year because it felt like it, but it's going to have good revisionist history. Kyle Dominic, you says what was funny when I see Rocco as a Clipper wearing 23. Looked wrong when I first saw it. Then I suddenly realized that's Lou Will's number. Yeah, I know. It's tough to see that. When you say someone's a high volume shooter, that means there's a lot of attempts, right? Yes, that's correct. What's up, Collins Dang? Kevin Durant says I'm the greatest scorer of all time. Doubt it, Scott. Not better than Jordan or Kobe. Mike Swisher says, damn, KD, what happened at the end, bro? You choked it. Damn it, KD choked. Was that the deal? Or he just missed at the end? It was a bad look and bad shot. We'll be back. And just wait till Ben 10 comes back. Y'all screwed. You mean Philly or Boston? Nets in 5-6. Yeah, I don't know about the Celtics, man, but the Sixers, they're and lost tonight to the Pistons, by the way. You already know. And that's how Glenn Rivers was calling out James. Love it. Man, you already know that's going to be a hilarious story when they collapse. By the way, let me know how the connection's been tonight, guys. I'm plugged into the Ethernet for the first time, not Wi-Fi. So let me know how the connection. Has it lagged even once? But yeah, I think that I need Nets and Sixers first round. I want them first round. It'd be so funny if the Sixers go home first round. Nothing would make my year more than that. That would be hilarious. By the way, U.S. men's national team back in the World Cup. Yes, sir. Throw some USA flags in the comments, guys. We're back after a complete embarrassment 4 years ago. Thank God. By the way, it doesn't even feel like a World Cup year because it's in the winter this year. It's closer to 2023 New Year's than 2022. But by the way, just so you know, if you guys think there's going to be probably any basketball content going on during the World Cup, oh, no. It's only going to be World Cup. Sorry, football. I don't care what's going on. First World Cup for Dime Dropper, there's nothing better than that. I would be doing a disservice to the tournament. That's when non-soccer fans even watch soccer. But anyway. Hey, Jordan, what's up, man? Goats in the building. By the way, though, I still want Nets and Sixers, man, because I know they'll beat the shit out of them, and I'm all for the Nets now. I don't really like KD like that, but he's amazing. I love watching him play. I don't really like Kyrie like that, but I love watching him play. They're both fantastic, and they're both students of the game. So I respect them both in that sense. And I would love them to kick the Sixers' ass. Celtics, I don't know. It's tough because if it was the Eastern Conference Finals, I'd root for the Nets because I don't want the Celtics to win a championship because they have too many, and my friends would be annoying. But first round or second round, I wouldn't mind seeing the Celtics beat them. It'd be hilarious. That would be crazy, too. I mean, Kyrie against the Celtics. Jordan says, I got the Suns. Gee, they win it on the CP3 chokes per usual. What's up, Cameron? He's got that Clipper City Edition logo. Tough night in Chicago. Need 5 consecutive wins to be above 500 for the 11th year in a row. Longest active streak. Wow, I didn't even know that. Damn. I don't know if we're going to be able to do that. Kevin Durant says, nah, MJ, Nets in 4. Shut the fuck up, Kevin. Your ass can't win a real ring, you ashy ass snake. Nets Bucks was a movie. Might be the best first round matchup of all time seeding turns out. Man, of all time, huh? We got to look back in the record here. Let's see. Is LeBron having an empty stat season, but no one's talking about that? That's I thought. I mean, I don't like to use the word empty stats, but let's just put it this way. His stats do not show how well he has played. Okay? Let's put it that way. They make him look better than he actually has, which is very much the case with LeBron a lot. You guys are funny, man. Giannis just lucky, LOL. Just wait and see in the postseason. Then he will become my second son. Dime, what does it take for Giannis to enter GOAT status? I know it sounds crazy, but he's doing this much at 26, 27-year-old. Just curious what you think it's going to take. Keep on keeping on and keep on winning rings. That's it. He will never be a GOAT. Just saying I'll always be the greatest of all time. Facts. If he goes all time, that puts him in a different category. Absolutely. Absolutely. Not many people have done it. Dime, with Golden State Warriors struggling, is he your fave to come out of the West? The Suns now? Yeah, I already said that. KD going to be the 7th seed. We're going to trade up for Paolo Banchero. This upcoming draft will be a contender. Just trust the process. What the hell? You're funny. You guys are freaking fools, man. Oh, yeah, Bobby Wagner to the Rams. Nick Johnson, thanks for reminding me. Wow. To replace Von Miller. That's huge, man. Huge. I'm hyped. I'm very hyped. Thank God. Now just need to re-sign OBJ, hopefully, and we'll be okay. Because we still can rock with Van Jefferson, Cooper Kupp, and Allen Robinson for sure. And then Stapp obviously got re-signed. Lost Andrew Whitworth and Heck. That's the part that I'm most nervous about. Andrew Whitworth and Heck. Thoughts on Bobby Wagner? I said I'm hyped. Kawhi got to come back. They could win this roster. Shaking my head. I feel you, man. I feel you. We should, honestly. No, Memphis is not my most hated team. The Jazz first, then Memphis. Right? What's up, my man? I'm good. By the way, super chats are turned on if you want to drop $1 or a dime. Remember, each dollar you drop will it helps me get better playoff tickets. Better seats for the vlogs. Every penny counts. Kyle's take says, remember, I'm not making that much money off this, so helps me keep this alive. By the way, yeah, as I said, go check out my last vlog. Drop comments, guys. I need you guys flooding them shits. As it's gonna be 1,000 views. It's looking good. Let's get back to the view count is starting to go back up for the playoffs. This is what we need. We need to build this momentum. Paul's back. People like it. Kawhi comes back. Woo, to the moon. Kyle's take says, I'd love to Golden State Warriors to go to the finals and win it, but honestly, if it's Bucks Suns again, I won't be mad. I loved last year's series. Plumber Jim and no bench. That was a 76ers story today. Man. Connection's great so far. Nice. Darren, if Giannis wins his third MVP and gets another ring and finals MVP, would you say he's an argument for being better than Steph and KD all time already? Yes, I do. If he does all that. How did Italy not qualify for the World Cup? Great question. It's an absolute travesty, guys. For the second World Cup in a row, the team that has won the second most World Cups, I think either tied with Germany or second and third, top three most World Cups, the Italians, the Azzurri are not going to Qatar, and it's extremely tragic. The reason why is because UEFA has a tough qualification process. If you finish first in your group that they put you in, you make it automatically. If you finish second, you have to play in a playoff. They lost to North Macedonia in a playoff, and Switzerland finished above them in the group. So honestly, they have nobody to blame but themselves. But it is a travesty, an absolute travesty. And for the second time not to make it after being the current European champions, which poses the question, and you guys can answer this in the comments, do you think that the winner of their continental tournaments should make it automatically? So I would love to hear your thoughts on that. Ramadan Mubarak as well, my friend. Yes, sir. I don't fast, though. I need to get those gains in. Kyle Take said it would really be a disappointment if the Suns find a way not to win this year. Absolutely. Do you think the Lakers blow it up? Oh, no. Right, so if Giannis goes back-to-back, is he the second best power forward ever after Tim Duncan? So the whole Giannis power forward thing, look, bro, I still don't know how to answer that. Like, I just don't consider him a power forward. Like, he doesn't play this way the other guys did. Like, he doesn't operate in the same areas. Like, he brings up the ball. He moves the small forward, but then he plays with power like a power forward. He's definitely not a small forward in this era because he can play the 5, but he's in another era, I feel like he'd be a huge small – he'd be a power forward, but, like, I feel like it would limit him if you play him that way. I feel like if you would play him, he'd be more of a small forward. Like Durant is. But he can't shoot. I get it. Whatever. It's like LeBron when he was young, like in that kind of way. But I don't know if I can answer that. But if you do have to consider him a power forward, if I had to consider him, if he goes back-to-back, yes, I would say he has a pretty good case to be the second best. A joke. What's my take on that? A joke. Yeah, Rams turned salary cap off. You hate the Jazz more than the Lakers? I don't hate the Lakers. Where'd you guys get that idea? I hate this current Lakers. Oh, okay. I thought the LeBron-led Lakers are your most hated team. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Top Rivers. You're funny. England win it all in the World Cup. They have a lot of firepower. They do. I just don't see them winning because they're England. If the Clippers are 100% healthy, what seed do you think they'll be after the regular season? What does that mean? Does that mean Paul George and Kawhi play how many games each? You ever seen that movie, Troy? I have seen it once. So crazy how fast Giannis' greatness has risen, and he's already about to reach or even overtake KD and Steph level. He only started getting on the radar 2017. Facts. Something unbelievable, 6 years. Lakers against every team is Chris Rock. Maybe the Warriors right now without Steph. Any last questions, guys, before I sign out? 45 minutes, 50 minutes, pretty good. So I thought it was gonna be my last live, but it's not. I'll be back. Maybe with people. Bing. By the way, go check out my last video, as I said, and the Knicks series and my boy Fabian. Knicks, Mellow Knicks. By the way, guys, what should I call that series? Okay, let's say it says if Kawhi and PG play at least 50 to 60 games each, I'd say we'd be 54 and 28. 54 and 28. I think if we were to win, like try to contend for 60 games, 60 wins, they need to play 65 plus each. What does that mean, Darian? England won't win because they're England. Well, let's put it this way. They have won in 1966, but England to me is like the Knicks of international football. They're so passionate. They make the biggest deal out of sometimes the most mediocre of players. But when they have talent and they win, you'll hear about it. You'll hear about it loud and fucking clear. But everything seems to go wrong in the last 40 years. They've had so many talented teams, but it just never fully comes together. And they've lately, the last couple of tournaments, the World Cup and the Euro Cup under Gareth Southgate, have changed. They've become more organized. They're playing harder. There used to be things about how the squad was so competitive amongst each other in the Premier League that they wouldn't even like try to become friends. They wouldn't even say words at the lunch they'd have lunch together with the team, whatever. But this team seems a lot more. The new generation seems a lot more friendly, and they like each other. And they've been really good in these tournaments, playing really doing it with their defensive side of things, the defensive side of things. But they lost in penalties in their own home stadium, right? So if they're not going to win that, I don't think they're going to get a better chance, dude. You lost it in your home stadium with all your fans, and you missed and lost on pens. So I don't think they're going to win it, especially in the World Cup. Now that the competition's bigger. Absolutely, if Zion comes back, they're a problem. What are my top 3 AFC and NFC teams for next year? Mine are probably, well, you didn't type anything. I'd have to look at the rosters a little bit more, to be honest, to answer that, Hayden. But let's just put the Rams in there. We'll still keep the Bucks in there. And I don't know the third. No, not really. I don't really like the Suns. Rematch next in Clippers Suns. Yes, please bring it on. England reminds me of the Buffalo Bills in the playoffs. Oh, yeah, the Knicks just got eliminated today. Yes, pour one out for the Knicks. Lucas was wrong. Hey, remember, guys, when we talked about our in the beginning of the season for our season preview, he said they're gonna finish with a better record than the Celtics. Who's having the last laugh now? And the Hawks. They finished worse than both of them. Oh man, the Knicks. Julius Randle. He's got to go. The young kids, the Jericho Sims and Emmanuel Quickly, RJ, who's been, as I've talked about so many times this season, and what's his name? Who's the other one? Grimes, like these guys. Oh, Mitchell Robinson. This is the future right here. You got to build through these guys. Randall screwed everything up. The front office did a poor job. Leon Rose, after doing a great job the previous year. D Rose getting hurt sucked. But yeah, I'm okay with them not making it. And I love it for the fans, but their team is not that enjoyable. Dime, speaking of the Knicks, who are the teams you're most disappointed with? Of course, Lakers. Absolutely the Hawks. No doubt. Go listen to what I said for them in the preview, man. I was so off on it. A lot of people were. They're so disappointing. By the way, so connection's great, guys. No lag at all. Who's the favorite to win the World Cup? I'd say France or Brazil. Niners. Okay. Yeah, facts. Here's the thing, Dime. I know the Suns are the faves, but I can tell from the last game they don't want to meet the Warriors. Facts. They have a bad matchup against the Warriors. Mine are probably Bills. Oh, yeah, the Bills. Bills and Chiefs and Chargers, and then Rams, Bucks, and Packers. That's pretty good. I don't know how. Yeah. Pretty good. I like how the U.S. men's team is mediocre and the women's team is unstoppable. Interesting. No lag. Beautiful. All right, guys. I think that's going to be it for me tonight. Any last words? By the way, What should I call the episodes where I do those rewinds, like with Fabian or like I did with Ocean's Wave? By the way, he has a music video I'm gonna release on my channel. It's really cool. You should check it out. Go subscribe to his channel. It's linked in the video of us talking how Kobe lost those 2 finals. And trust me, we are gonna come out with in a couple of months how Kobe Bryant went back to back. But my question is this. Facts with that Boston comment. My question is this. Do Lakers make the playoffs? No. As I'm going to go no. Another blemish on LeBron's resume. Yes. Don't even argue it. It's a blemish. Do not make the plan. Oh my. And not just LeBron. Everybody. To not make the playoffs would be ridiculous. To lose in the plan would be absolutely ridiculous. You have the highest odds to win the champion or to go to the finals. Anyway, what should I call that series though? Where I talk about a certain season or player or series with somebody and show the footage and stuff. I don't want to steal my girl Malika Walker's name, The Rewind. I already have the time machine. What should I call it? Throw some suggestions in the comments. Peace out, everybody. Have a great night. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you guys this weekend. My take on LeBron's Laker tenure is he won a championship. He brought them back. It's great, but slightly disappointing if you look at each year. 3 years were disappointing. One of them was injuries, though, so you can't really blame him. But the other 2 years, 2019 and this year, disaster. 1 year, amazing. All right, thanks, guys, so much. I'll see you guys next year. I'll see you guys this weekend. And peace. Go check out those videos. And throw some comments. Make sure to throw comments on this video. Throw some comments on what I should call that series where I talk about a certain part of history together. Anyway. Anthony Davis, I mean, I guess because he's injured, but like I'm talking about his play. Yes, you can say that his career is becoming a what's it called? A sketch fest because he just can't stay healthy. But anyway, thanks guys, and we'll close it out with the theme song.
Gilgeous-Alexander, Shabbat for 3, bang!
Kobe will get it for the win.